Hey, I'm Ricky.
And I'm Nova.
And tonight we're going to tell you how to have the best sleep of your life.
We are going to tell you how to have the best sleep of your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to come back and listen to how that's going to happen.
So you can sleep.
You and me, we got this. Gonna take some practice. Superpower oneness. We are marriaging. Oh, oh.
One to twin powers activate.
We are marriaging.
Hey, we're back, and it's 185 degrees right here.
Even I'm sweating, and I'm always cool.
So we got to get through this quick tonight because clothes are going to start coming off, if you know what I mean. And we'll for sure have to shut the video off when that happens,
Oh my
right?
goodness, land your plane.
Yeah, I do the show weekly. It's called Marriaging.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Every marriage. Every
So,
single week. It's
just want some,
still the same
want
thing.
some affirmation. That's
Yes,
what I was looking
yeah.
for.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Is that right?
Okay, so in Marriaging is where we talk about becoming one together or creating a oneness superpowers.
You have incredible gifts and strengths, and you are a leader in those gifts and strengths and roles, and I have gifts and strengths and roles and leadership, and we come together in those. It's powerful, and you guys can have the same thing. So that's what marriaging is. But tonight, I guess we want to talk about being able to sleep through the night uninterrupted. This doesn't even feel like an episode on marriaging. It's like we don't want to sleep, we want to do other things. It's counterintuitive.
It's counterintuitive for what most guys watching this right now want to do at night in their bed.
It's sleep.
That's the last thing you want
But
to do.
there's nothing better than a good night's sleep.
Right.
We have to land the plane with this thought, so here we go.
We all know that there's a lot of things that can keep you from sleeping well, and when you don't sleep well, it affects your whole life, right? But one of the things we want to address tonight, which hopefully if you can tackle it as an individual or as a couple, you will have a better sleep, okay? And that is this. Some of you are not okay. I mean, some of you are faking it really, really good. And when people ask how you're doing, your immediate response is great. So good. So
Awesome,
good.
perfect.
Yeah, for you Christians out there, God is good all the time, right?
All the time.
God is good.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong. Things are fantastic. We're going to make it. And, you know, I think a positive attitude is fantastic. We love being around positive people.
Totally.
We're pretty positive. Our daughter is really positive.
I can't get that girl. That girl can't. You can't get her down.
It's like everything.
It's like we're in traffic. She goes, but you know what? We get to spend more time together.
That's it. Everything is half full and amazing, which is great. But the truth is, some of you watching this video are really struggling, and you're very lonely. You're struggling with addiction. You're struggling with all sorts of inner turmoil, but you have refused to let it out. And I want to tell you tonight, if you want to sleep, you got to let it out. It is okay to not be okay.
Yeah, I was reading this very obscure passage in the Old Testament out of the book of Leviticus, and it was talking about mold and how to get rid of it. If you had like a broken finger, you'd go to the doctor today, right? And if you have like something else going in your heart, like you might go to a pastor or
Counselor
or something like that. In that day and age, everything was integrated. It was like, no matter what's going on in your life, you just go to the priest. And the priest takes care of business. And so in this very obscure passage, there was mold, and it was telling you how to get rid of the mold. And I started, there's just, it's like, you do this. And I'm like, this is a lot of work to get rid of mold. And then I was thinking about what mold is and how mold grows in the dark, damp places in our homes, but also in us, like the things that we hide away that we don't want anybody to see in the dark places, it ends up growing. Okay, so we lived in that apartment where
Oh, man.
it was so cute. It was awesome. a month in, I was like, I'm feeling sick. I wake up every morning, snotty nose, just ew. And what we realized is there was mold growing. And what they had done is they just painted over it thinking, we're fine.
Yeah, it was covered up.
But the thing about mold is, even when you try to cover it up and mask it, it always comes through. So you have to get rid of it. And the only thing that gets rid of mold is really essentially the sun.
The light.
The light. The light is what kills the mold. As I was reading this and thinking about it, really, those places in our hearts that we have kind of hidden even from each other in marriage, eventually what happens to mold, it always comes to the surface.
Comes to the surface.
It grows back, and sometimes it gets worse, and it makes you really sick. You know, Ricky, sometimes we've witnessed it, we've experienced it in marriage relationships, like when there are things growing in your marriage and you're underneath the surface that you're hiding, it always just eventually comes up.
That's right.
And it comes out. Back to the Old Testament, there's all this ways to get rid of mold, but like sometimes the priest would actually have to take out like the actual building, and sometimes like everything had to go. It just depended. And I was kind of equating that with, you know, sometimes we wonder why people kind of sometimes move out of our lives because all this stuff comes up and they don't know how to take it. And with our husbands and wives, these situations come up, these challenging things, and we wonder why our spouse is mad at us or because we're hiding something. And what we're hiding, we may never speak it, but other emotions come up, and we try. We fight. We go at it because we're hiding something that we don't want the other person to know. So you're saying it's okay to not be okay.
It is.
And I'm saying yes, but the part that makes that work is that when we don't want to hide. We want to be able to expose our not okayness. It doesn't even have to be like a big sinful thing. Maybe it's just some area of your life that you are, you know, susceptible to being insecure about, and you pretend even with your spouse, and they say something, and then you're like, silent treatment, I don't want to talk to you, and they don't even know why.
Yeah, I think we could say it like this. You ready for this? It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. Okay, one more time. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. The idea is you admit it. I'm not good. I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Versus protect, like you were just talking about. And then when you push, I attack, or I continue to protect by turning against you. Instead of that, you say, I'm not good. Can you help me get okay? Right? So that it's really asking your spouse to help you. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're single, you don't have a spouse, you have a boyfriend or fiance, it's turn to somebody. You cannot white knuckle this thing, figure it out, and you're gonna be just fine by yourself. It will not fix itself.
No, it always will come up to the surface. So you have to get to the root of the mold and
expose it to the light.
And expose it to the light. There's something happens when you tell another human your garbage or your pain. I remember when I was very young meeting you, and this was before we dated, I want to say, right before, because we were still in that friendship zone, right?
I don't know what you're about to say, so.
Okay, well, I thought you were reading my mind, oneness. So, but remember when I came to you and I said, I have something to tell you. I had this big secret that I'd hidden since I was like 13 years old. And I shared with you that I have an eating disorder. I felt so, I was so scared because I was like, this guy's going to run because he's going to be like, what's that? Or like, you're stupid. And like, I had all these scenarios in my head about what you were going to say. And then I made up these other things in my head to like, no, I don't really need to tell him. Like, it's going to be fine. I can work it out on my own. And I think that's like the biggest lie that people believe is you create such a bigger situation and then it causes you to go inward and still retreat inward and keep it all in, as opposed to just going, here you go. And that's the thing about hiding is you camp out there for way longer than you have to, and it's so unnecessary. And when you said to me, yeah, and like I'm a messed up person too, I'm jacked up, like, okay, Nick, what else are you gonna share with me? And I felt so, like, all of a sudden I was like, I felt like this like big release and relief that I could tell you the truth and you didn't reject me. Instead, you brought me nearer to your heart and brought me in, and we're like, okay, well, let's work through this. And I ended up getting counseling. I think you would encourage me to do that. I talked to a few people that I knew could help me, and It was really amazing. And the truth is, it's not ever just a one-time thing. It's like in the 25 years that we've been married, it's like this practice of getting into each other's basement and going, what's in there? Do you want to see what's in here? At the beginning, it's like, ah! But then it becomes part of your flow, part of the dance of marriage, like going, do you want to go for a walk in the deep, dark, steamy basement of my life?
With lots of mold.
With lots of mold. But it becomes so much easier over time.
Yeah.
And that's where you create, again, a place where it's okay to not be okay. I feel safe with you.
Fast forward, now we've been married for maybe 3 years and got the internet in our house for the first time. Some people just are like, what? That's right, we didn't have an internet on our phone. We had a dial-up computer, and I was still young. We were both still pretty young. I didn't grow up as a follower of Jesus. I grew up as a follower of Ricky, and was really caught up in some, I guess what you would say, promiscuity, sexual promiscuity, and utilizing porn and all sorts of sexual sin. And so I was able to suppress that, really like die to that. But then a few years into marriage, when we got the internet, I realized, wow, you can look at stuff on the internet for free. And I found myself in front of that computer late at night when she was asleep, and could have kept hiding that. And had I kept hiding that, then, who knows where we'd be today. It was one of those things where it's like, well, we got to get this mold from this basement and expose it to the light, and whatever's going to happen, happen. And it was at the front of a Starbucks. I'll never forget it, on the patio of a Starbucks. And I told you, hey, here's what I found myself doing, looking in, here's what I was looking at the computer. And I mean, you cried, and it really,
I was a tinge sad. So
yeah, but that's what was like natural, is normal.
Yeah.
But then you said, okay, then let's figure out how not to get you looking at the computer. So the response was, I could have not told you because I was afraid of that. Oh man, and now she's crying, and I just hurt. I broke her heart, and that was what I didn't want to do. But you came right back into, okay, but we're in this together, just like when you shared with me. And it really does become a practice. We're not sharing our experiences with you so that you see us as the heroes. We're sharing our failures with you so that it's okay.
It's okay.
And you're going to fail. And it's okay not to be okay. You can get through it. And you can be on the other side of it.
Yeah, I think
and we're on the other side of it.
That's the thing that happens. It's like when you experience that, you think this might be the end. And even in the moment, sometimes it feels like this is the end. Like, I don't trust you. I don't trust myself. It's kind of like you're dying to yourself, and then the other side of something dying, there's always new life on the other side of it. And I think that's what I want, like, people to know. It might feel so intimidating. And like, I don't want to do this, but the other way is so much harder. We've also know stories where people hid, and then in the end, I mean, it was just their gravest challenge, and some people just couldn't get past it.
Yeah, we've heard some horrific stories.
Yeah, we have.
It doesn't matter when you're watching this, what day of the week or what time it is. If you start today, if you just jump. I know your toes are dangling over the cliff, and you're like, I could die. And the truth is, I could go really ugly.
You feel like you're going to lose somebody.
But just jump, because once it's exposed, it'll begin to die. And like Nova just said, I don't know if you caught that. Say that again about what happens in death.
When something dies in you, something dies, on the other side of death, there's always life. There's always something that grows from that. Like if you look at even different plants and trees, and there's a certain dying right in the fall, but in the spring there's always new life again. So something dies and falls off the trees, and then in spring new life comes again. And that's kind of how we can look at our lives. Like there is a falling off, and you think, oh, there's the winter, and everything's freezing and cold and nothing will ever grow. But all of a sudden new life comes, and there is such opportunity for growth as a human. I wouldn't want to live this life with you and not be honest with you.
Here's what we'd like you to do. If you're hiding then something, and you're afraid your significant other who's watching this with you is going to reject you if you tell them, we're saying, Tonight, there's no rejection. Tonight, you get a pass. Okay, so this is how it works. Tonight, you take a mulligan and you turn to each other and you say, hey, you know what? Last night I looked at porn and I'm really sorry. And she's not going to freak out. She's going to say, okay. And then she's going to tell me,
I have an eating disorder and I'm struggling to not hate myself.
and that's okay. But we're gonna get out of it. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. And then we'll deal with it tomorrow, right? We're gonna unpack this tomorrow. We're gonna get counseling. We're gonna get help. We're gonna reach out to Ricky and Nova. We're gonna talk to our pastor. We're gonna talk to our neighbor, our friend, our mom, our dad. But you got to start with exposing that to the light, and it will start to die. And when it starts to die, there will be new life that replaces that.
Even if you're afraid, do it afraid, you know? And you'll see that the fear will leave once you speak the truth over the lies.
Devil is real. He really hates you. He hates your marriage. Hates God. You may not believe that, but it's true. It's like if you don't believe there's gravity and you jump off a building, you're gonna die.
And he doesn't want your relationship to work.
No, he wants you to be in that corner, and he wants your spouse to be in that corner. And the further apart he can get you to, then the more jacked up your kids will be, your home life will be, and you will not sleep. But if you do this, you can potentially have the best sleep of your life tonight.
The best. Isn't that so awesome? Because you can go to sleep feeling like I have nothing. I don't have anything to hide. I don't have anything to keep for anybody. We want you to change the atmosphere of your marriage and your home and create an environment where it's safe. I can tell you, I can show you my mold, and you can show me your mold, and we can overcome and get out into the sunlight and go for a long walk.
And we want you to rest tonight. So we say, God bless you, go in peace, share with each other, love each other, and rest.
And continue to marriage.
Bye-bye, guys.